Welcome back to Crypto Front. This is the front line where we are fighting together side by side for financial freedom. And can you believe it? What we are seeing here with ZEBEC, especially, the last 2 days, we are up more than I would say actually here, something like a 40%, 50% actually to be more specific. And I think the best is yet to come here. But remember, leading into this moment when the price was dropping towards the downside here, everybody has been shouting that this is a scam. And even as early as yesterday when I was posting that, look, I think that ZEBEC is forming something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a fifth wave right there, which was just about to begin. I've said that time and again in my posts, on my even videos, time and again, that look, the fifth wave for ZEBEC is about to begin. But for some reason or the other, people would say that, ZEBEC is a scam and this is a scam wallet. But whatever the case may be, I think it's just really satisfying to see the whole thing panning out like this. So yeah, I've been talking about this, but I would say, to be honest with you, I'm actually taken by surprise on how fast the whole thing has actually begun right there. So we'll talk about how high we can go with the ZEBEC price chart, as well as obviously immediate short term what can be the price action that we can anticipate here. But I think things have been very clear from the very beginning. I think you can even see way back then in June, I was also talking about the price dropping, rather something like a 70%, get back into support and start pushing towards the upside. So this is exactly where the chart is, exactly where we want it to be. But I'm very sure that this has actually left a lot of people on the sidelines. On my spot position, I think I'm still very good here on ZEBEC, but maybe in terms of like a long position, like a trade, I might have actually missed an opportunity to buy there for ZEBEC. But it is what it is right there. I think that still there can be a chance in which this thing can be bought both on spot as well as a trading perspective, and still ride the wave towards the upside. Because again, it's very simple. We are looking at the Elliott wave theory, which we have talked about at length. If you have at least visited this channel once, I'm sure you've seen this setup right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are saying that this fifth wave right there for ZEBEC is going to be taking us into a new high compared to the one that we were setting back in May and June. So I'm looking at the HTX chart because this actually has got much more data, and it shows us the price, like the inception price of ZEBEC right there, at least when it was switching from ZBC to ZBCN, like the rebranding happened right here. So this is exactly what we are using to predict our price targets there. And also not forgetting that, look, this has been a wake of accumulation pattern here. So it's very much okay to anticipate an extension, a full Fibonacci extension from the very top of the structure until the bottom right there. You can see that this next fifth wave for ZEBEC should take us at least to something like 1.4 cents here. So this has always been my price target, even when we're down below here. I remember the market cap of ZEBEC then was like $70 million or something like that, and I was saying, look, I'm only targeting a 10x here. So by the time we get to 1.4 cents, 1.36 cents thereabout, I think we're already hitting our price target. So that's great here for ZEBEC. Now, of course, just yesterday, if you had bought ZEBEC, to get to that price target, we'll be looking at somewhere like a 6x or something like that. But because the price has actually moved very much quickly from where the price is sitting today, you can already see that the gains have actually been reduced by almost half. You're looking at now something like a 314%. This may not be enticing for a lot of people, but I also have to be very much clear that it's not like my price target is going to be the ultimate price target, right? I really expect ZEBEC to go even way higher than that, reaching market caps of like billions and billions of dollars, okay? But for now, in terms of taking profits and making sure that we are locking in those gains before the bear market arrives, this is the only reason I'm deciding to take profits, considerably way earlier than everybody else. So it is what it is right there with ZEBEC. But I also want to appreciate that we had also talked about the RSI a lot, in terms of saying that, look, where the RSI had been in the last 2 days is exactly when we have seen the support levels being held right there for ZEBEC. And it's no surprise, obviously, that we saw a quick bounce out of there. But I also want you to note that it hasn't always been a clear cut from these lows to just break the 50 mark here. There has been some kind of, resistances that happen right there. As you can see, there's a little bit of traffic that happens. So again, just as if history is going to be any indication of the future, I think we can also anticipate that we find a little bit of, a challenge right there before we work out ourselves eventually to even hit those overbought territories. Once again, I'm sure by then we'll be reaching a new high for ZEBEC and probably reaching our price target. So yeah, there can be a little bit of a slowdown here in the coming days or something like that. But the thing is that these things can never be a guarantee. It likes to move real quick. But I would say that obviously nothing goes up in a straight line. There may be a chance in terms of a trade that can be taken right there for ZEBEC. We'll see, because we know the longer term trajectory is up, right? So whenever we see a moment when the price comes down a little bit, I think it's also okay to say, okay, it's time to seize that moment and maybe jump into a long position or something like that. I think I will be announcing that on the Patreon if and when I see the price dropping and pulling back a little bit, because yeah, this has been a very quick move towards the upside. It can also be very much normal to see somewhat of a pullback here into, you know, previous support or breakout levels right there, maybe a minus 20% or 15% before it even starts continue to move way higher. So I hope you understand that we are looking at this chart from, you know, a spot trading portfolio as well as a futures trading portfolio as well. So I think by now everybody has understood that we are in this 5 waves that we have been talking about time and again, that this is wave 1, this is wave 2, this is wave 3, pulling back to wave 4 right there, and of course the 5th wave is one that is going to be taking us towards a new high here for ZEBEC. So basically I'm very excited for what's about to happen here for ZEBEC. Also admitting that immediate short term, yes, we are seeing a huge price pump today, but still immediate short term on the 1 hourly time frame we can still see some pullbacks at least to these breakout levels. Yeah, I think this can be a good area to be opening a long position. Let me just polish my strategy nice and easy there, announce it to Patreon members, and we'll see what we can do. But I would say maybe towards $0.003 in terms of like the valuation of ZEBEC right there. We'll see what happens if we can get a pullback into that zone, or maybe if like we're very lucky, would be considering something like, I would say here, something like 0.0028 for ZEBEC as well in terms of like a long futures position right there. So I want to thank you so much for watching the video. If you could, please delicately tap the like button, share the video with your friends and family, and I'll see you on the next one. Take really, really good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.